Fantastic. Hey, welcome back, everyone. My name is Chris, and I am the Algo Trader here on TikTok. And today was a textbook elephant hunting day, guys. Absolute textbook. And if you've been with us through the last few sessions, you already know what to look for, okay? And this was absolute fun. And this morning was no different. And if you missed it, let me break it down so you never miss it again. So pay very close attention to this, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and get started. So we always start every morning zooming in on the last 30 minutes of the prior session. And last night, okay, it whispered the whole playbook right here with this bad boy. This is Predictmo. This is our machine learning algorithm, okay? Predictmo's line is shot above 0 into the close right there. And let me tell you something interesting about this. That's 2 days in a row that we've had the exact same DNA heading into the open. A predictive thrust upward before the bell. And what did this mean right here? This little predictive thrust that you see right here with the predictor going up. It meant that you had no excuse to be caught off guard today. We told you, the next morning's move always lives in the prior day's final candles. So when the bell rung this morning, you already knew what to do, guys. 9:30, the market roared to the upside. No hesitation, no fake out, just pure vertical aggression. That's an elephant charge. And we had our rifles loaded. Predictmo led the way, Simul confirmed the early cycle acceleration, and also confirmed the early onset of a trend. And it let us ride that heat up with confidence, guys, okay? This was your morning money. And if you fumbled it, you weren't using the right tools. And by around 10:20 a.m., the entire tone changed. Momentum sunk below the threshold on Simo, and that was our signal, right? We flipped straight to the trend chart for early onset of trend confirmation. And sure enough, confirmation locked in. That was our cue. We shifted bias, sized accordingly, and took the downside trade for the second half of the morning. One move up, one move down, zero guesswork. And we're going to see exactly how this all played out right here as I put this bad boy back in recap mode at 10 times the speed of the market. All right, so let's go ahead and get this started, guys. All right, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, here we go. And boom, that's the first bar of the open in today's session right there. Look at that monster bar. Went all the way, hit the 80 bar VWAP right there. You had cycle going up. You had your predictor going up as well right there. One of the things that's really important to notice, guys, notice how the market was cycling towards the close right there. Cycle right here, you see the perfect sine wave formation. You had another cycle going into the morning open right here, okay? Now, if momentum goes above the threshold, we already know what to do, okay? And what we do is we pause and we see whether or not this is the early onset of a trend, okay? Now, it hasn't gone up yet, and price is kind of like stalling right there at that 80 bar VWAP, but right there it did. So if we do that, and we see that price went above the threshold, we want to confirm whether this is the early onset of a trend. Not only that, because we have a second rotation to the upside here with the predictor. Notice how the predictor perfectly caught the morning rip to the upside before it even happens, several bars in advance, okay? The predictor typically gives you a 2-bar advance warning of what's going to come before it even happens, okay? That's what the power of machine learning is all about. But the moment you see momentum rise above the 0.90 threshold, you want to pause. And the first question you want to ask yourself is this the early onset of a trend, okay? So if we want to confirm if that's the early onset of a trend, what do? We look towards our trend chart, and this is our trend chart. And this chart right here, guys, is tuned specifically to only capture the trend component of price. And what's our verification process to this? We have a threefold verification process right here. Is cycle above 0? Yes. Is momentum above 0? Absolutely it is, okay? How about PureMo? PureMo is completely shifted to the upside right here. This is our trend detection tool right here. momentum shifted to the upside and completely just shot up right here. How about scalp mode? Do we have confirmation that that's broken above the 0.43 threshold? We do, right here. A, B, C. This is trend mode right here at its best, okay? Absolute trend mode right there. And if it's trend mode, guys,
Order
you
filled.
absolutely want to take that to the long side and ride that bad boy out. So we will go ahead and do that and see where that rolls. Now, you can go ahead and ride this bad boy all the way until this purple line dips below this threshold and capture that component of the trend move. Likewise, if you're looking at your cycle chart right here, you're going to notice that you just commenced cycle number 1. Cycle number 1 commenced right here the moment the cyan line went above 0, okay? And right here we've got the commencement of cycle number 2. Remember, guys, I've told you time and again, and I know I sound like a broken record sometimes, that you typically get 2 cycle rotations before the cycle fizzles out. And if cycles precede trends, you better watch the cycle rotation to kind of mark the end of the trend, okay? So if you've got cycle number 1 here, and this is the early outset of a trend, and you've got the commencement of cycle number 2 right here, you better be watching this bad boy come down right here if you're only keeping tabs on the cycle chart, okay? But we're also keeping tabs over on the momentum chart, so we'll go ahead and flip that back. The moment that this is cycle component crosses below 0, that is it for the trend, guys. In fact, you already had the predictor cross below 0. That would be your exit signal right there. Now let's see how this all shook out here on the trend chart. If you were only looking at the trend component of price, guys, and you were looking to get out when this bad boy sunk, it would have been right here. I would say right around this bar. Let me go ahead and plot that arrow right around this bar right there. Okay, so nice little run. It would have caught the clip really well. And you also had the cycle that ended over here too, which is almost consistent with the end of the second cycle rotation in the cycle chart. End of move. There's nothing else, guys, okay?
Wow, did you see that? That's what you call precision.
So now that we know that we're almost back in cycle territory right here, but we're still outside of the zone, okay? You're clearly still in a trend pull to the upside. Price is outside of the VWAP. I mean, really trending strong, okay? You just had the end of cycle number 2 right there, okay? The end. So if that's the case, okay, and if we look here at your trend chart, and your trend chart is kind of fizzling out right there, let me just go ahead and run it here because this whole thing really ends up fizzling out the moment that the purple line hits the region Y threshold right here, okay? That's when your whole move kind of lands right there. You've got acceleration, you've got exhaustion, and you've got contraction right there. Perfect 1, 2, 3 step to get you in and out of your trades, okay? So this is pretty much the complete end of the whole momentum move to the upside, if you would, right there where I just plotted the arrow. So if we know that, we're going to go back to our cycle chart to see exactly where the next rotation is possibly going to occur. And we know that cycles typically follow trends and cycles precede trends as well. So you got to keep that in mind, guys, when you're trading the NASDAQ 100 and using these instruments. Got another little cyclic rotation right here. This kind of looks like a pivot trade to me, if anything. And I don't like pivot trades because they end up being very short-lived. And this is exactly what I'm talking about right here. This is a pivot trade right there. Yep, predictors below the 0 line. And I've got a nice little treat for you I'm going to share with you at the end of this stream that I think will really arouse your interest. So stick around to the end. I got something really cool that I definitely want to showcase and share with you guys, okay? So here we go. We got a little pivot trade, which is a cycle trade to the upside. You got another cycle right here. You're inside the 15-bar VWAP. We know that the 15-bar VWAP is chop zone. This is where traders are going to go and lose money right here. So keep an eye on that 15-bar VWAP. And we're doing the elephant hunting thing today, guys. So what we're going to do is we're going to look to see trend confirmation on the second opportunity for the second rotation. So here we go, okay? We'll just let this bad boy bounce. This definitely calls for a little bit of patience because if price is inside the 15 bar VWAP, you sort of want to sit in your hands until it breaks out of there. And I hope you guys had as good a luck as I did capturing that move to the upside this morning. Let's see if you guys had better luck capturing the downside move today. Okay, we just had a breakout here from the 15 bar VWAP, and we've got momentum falling along with cycle right here as well. Still hasn't sunk below the threshold, so we can't confirm whether this is the early onset of a trend, but now we can right here. Okay, next bar down, boom, right there. We stop, we pause, we ask, is this the early onset of a trend? Remember, this is your cycle chart right here, guys, okay? The tunings you have on this chart are only designed to capture the cyclic nature of price. If you finally see momentum sink below the threshold, you got to go into the next process, which is confirm whether or not this is the early onset of a trend. We flip over to our trend chart right here. This chart is specifically designed, okay, to capture the trend component of price. And what do we see right here, guys? Confirmation number one. Is cycle below zero? Absolutely, it's below zero at this bar. Is momentum below zero? It sure is. And how about pure mode down here? Has pure mode broken out? Well, it's right here at the cusp. It's about to break out. How about scalp mode? Scalp mode absolutely broke out to the downside. So guys, yes, A, B, C, they're consistent. That means that this is the early onset of a trend. And if that's the early onset of a trend, I want to take a short trade. Okay, so we'll go ahead and see how that plays out. This whole process here, guys, it's really methodical. It's not subjective. It's rules-based. This is real algorithmic trading at its best. And we will just let this bad boy play out. Now look at this. It's about to hit our 15 bar VWAP right there. And look what just happened right here, guys. Bingo, you just had confirmation for the trend right there. Now, here's something very important that I want to illustrate. And if there's any portion of this segment that you guys should be remembering or ought to remember, okay, it's what I'm about to say next right now, which is absolutely going to blow your mind. Okay, let me just go ahead and pause it real quick because this is so important for you guys to see, okay? I'm flipping it back to the cycle chart right here, all right? This trade's already up about over $4,000, okay? So if I pause it, we're gonna notice that momentum in the cycle chart sunk at about 10:22 in the morning, okay? So let me go ahead and get my crosshairs to confirm the time. Yes, right here. This was at about the 10:24 bar. That's where we saw it right there, okay? So remember, the 10:24 bar. Now, if I go over here, if I flip back over to my trend chart and I look at where the 10:24 bar was, which is right smack right here where we flipped over and started our confirmation process to determine if what we saw on the cycle chart was the early onset of a trend. 10:24 bar. Look at this. 1, 2, 3. About 3 bars in advance, guys, before you actually got confirmation on the trend chart that yes, in fact, this is a trend right here. So in other words, by using the first step in confirming the early onset of a trend on your cycle chart, you actually were able to capture the early onset of a trend here on the trend chart at the 10:24 bar before you actually got full confirmation that you were actually in a trend. I don't know about you guys, but I love getting a runway on my trades, okay? It gives me a better margin of safety when I execute my trades, and let's see how this whole bad boy plays out right here. But that's the process that you follow. And by the way, in case you're wondering, I've got a whole series on hunting elephants over on our YouTube channel under that playlist called Hunting Elephants that walks you through this exact process, okay? Now, price just hit this 80 bar VWAP right here. Remember, there's only 2 possible outcomes when it hits the 80 bar VWAP. It either breaks or it bounces. Now, at this juncture right here, it looks like it's stalling right now. What's the only thing that would keep you in this trade right here to give you the confidence and conviction to hold on to the trade and let the whole thing play out? Okay, what's the one thing that would give you the confidence to hold on? If you have 3 different indicators on your chart, you actually have 4, including the set here with the VWAP, okay? What would give you the confidence to hold on to this trade until it ends? Okay, just drop it in the comment box. Simo, okay, that's a good guess right there. Van City Bob, cool. Remember, once you go into trend mode, guys, your execution tool is gonna be, that's right, that's absolutely right, Miles, Piramo. Piramo is your execution tool. This bad boy right here is gonna tell you when to get in and when to get out right here. You're gonna confirm here, you're gonna confirm right here, but this bad boy, Piramo, is gonna be the one that's gonna tell you when to get out. Now we got pretty close here to the 0.20 threshold, but it didn't touch it, okay? And if it didn't touch it, this bad boy is gonna continue rolling down. So, you know, it's still rolling down, and until it actually crosses in or touches it, then I'm not gonna get out of this trade, and this trade would have been up a little bit over $5,000 already. So not a bad move to the downside. So we'll go ahead and watch it until Piramo hits the 0.20 threshold. Yes, and you can actually count your cycles too. That's right, Silent Noise. So there you go. You've got cycle 1 right there, and you've got the beginning of cycle 2 right there, and you've got what appears to be the ending of cycle 2 right there. And if you've only got 2 cycles, oh, there it goes, guys. Bingo.
Order filled.
That is it right there. Just hit the threshold. You had cycle 2, and that is it. Okay? There is nothing else left to that trade, and that's how you hunt an elephant in these type of markets, all right? And this, by the way, guys, is exactly the type of discipline that you need when you trade, especially in the NASDAQ 100 futures, okay? Today, I'll tell you, was all about tools. It was a tools day, all of them. Predict mode to forecast the open, Simo to navigate the cycles, Piramo to maximize the trend run, you know, and the trend chart, obviously this bad boy right here to confirm continuation. It was like watching a symphony, everything in sync. And if you've been trading solo, you're just winging it with lines and lagging indicators. You probably watched this move happen from the sidelines. Today was the difference, guys, between random hope and systematic confidence. So look at what happened. Okay, you nailed the bottom of this nice move right there. Price rolled back inside the VWAP, turned orange, and that gives you your clue that you are back in cycle territory right there, guys, to capture that swing in price. Okay, so let me go ahead and bring the cycle chart right here so you can see it, okay? Back in cycle mode right there. But here's something that I want to bring to your attention. You know what? Let me just stop it there for a quick sec, because I think I've got a few questions, okay? And I promised you, by the way, I was going to show you something really cool towards the end, and I'm going to show it to you right now in just a sec. Let me just look at some of these questions. Silent Noise says, count the cycles. Absolutely, count the cycles. That'll give you a very good, refined view. In fact, the end of cycle 2 in the trend chart really marked the dead bottom of this move right there. I actually waited until I got confirmation with Piramo when it hit the bottom of the 0.20 threshold, and that was it. Yeah, but your thought process is right on, Silent Noise, for sure. How can we get these set up? Oh, you know what? I've got setup videos on how to set up these charts exactly the way I've got them right here, and they're part of the onboarding process. Once you sign up, you'll get the you'll get links to the videos on how to set them up step by step, exactly the way I have them right here. And we got a ton of videos over on YouTube as well that kind of walk you through the process. Now, here's something important. I walked you through the process of how to hunt elephants. We nailed 2 enormous trades this morning, but I'm going to show you something that's absolutely going to blow your socks off right now. And I think you're really going to take appreciation to this, okay? And this is really important for you guys to see, okay? So we went over the cycle chart, which is this bad boy right here. We call it a cycle chart because the tunings that you have for Simo, which is a tool designed to capture market structure, are designed to only capture the cyclic swings in price, okay? Predict mode is designed to capture more of the cyclic component in price on days that are cycling. Now, this tool right here was not designed to capture the momentum component in price, okay? That's the reason we developed PureMo. PureMo is, it's an acronym for pure momentum. And pure momentum basically is designed to capture the momentum swing in price, which means these swings right here to the upside and all the way to the downside, the way you see right here, okay? And look at how this bad boy works, okay? It goes all the way up, and it isn't until it hits this threshold right here that it kind of fizzles out right there. And then it goes horizontal. And anytime it goes horizontal, it's telling you that there is no momentum in any of these trades. So imagine you've got a tool in your arsenal. Imagine this. If you had this tool in your arsenal, it's telling you it's going sideways. You're not going to trade any of this noise right here in the morning, because you know that the moment that PureMo starts going horizontal, that this is nothing but noise right there. So it helps you stay out of a lot of bad situations and a lot of trades that actually take back what you just made in this upside rip. Then you've got the downside rip here. That began over here all the way down until it touched right there. Very nice trade to the downside. Spooky Man, this is all manual. This is all discretionary. For discretion, designed specifically for discretionary traders. Now, I promise you guys I'll show you something cool, so let me go ahead and show it to you right now. Let me go ahead and bring this bad boy into the picture right here. Okay, now here's PredictMo, guys. This is our machine learning algorithm right here, okay? And look at how it nailed these trades to the downside with absolute precision. Just follow this right here, okay? Pop to the upside, went all the way right there, and the moment that it actually crossed below the zero line, which would have been at this bar, you would have exited the trade. This is where we took the trade on the 2-minute time frame, and this is where we got out specifically only on the 2-minute time frame. But had you been watching PredictMo on a 5-minute chart, you would have noticed that this was the strongest component of the trade. Look at where the trade faded, right when price hit the inflection point right here. And right when it hit the inflection point, that was this bar right there. You can't get more precise than that. Then what happened, okay? Price came all the way down, crossed the zero line right there, and that was your entry to go short. The predictor was already below the zero line right there. The moment it crossed above the zero line, that would have been this bar right here. That would have been where you would have exited your trade had you only been using the 5-minute time frame. But look at where the swing actually ends. Notice the green line, which represents price. It comes all the way down and it hits the inflection point, which is right smack daddy where I ended up getting out of the trade using PureMo. How is that possible? If that right there doesn't blow your mind, guys, I don't know what will. But this is exactly what precision trading looks like right here. This is the type of confirmation tool that you need in your chart to trade with high conviction on days like today. And listen, guys, if you're on our team, here's what I want you to do. I want you to pull your PredictMo chart, all the way from 9:15, mark exactly when the predict line went above zero, show your entry to the long, confirm your trend confirmation on your trend chart, post both screenshots on Discord, or if you like, send them over to me privately on Telegram. I'd be more than happy to be your sounding board and give you some solid feedback, okay? Don't cheat. Don't overthink it. Just show your process. That's the whole point of this, because this is how you develop real conviction in what you do. And for everyone else, what are you waiting for? You're here, you're watching the recap again. Ask yourself, how many times do you need to see us nail these trades before you stop gambling with your money and start using real tools? You could have been long in the morning, short a little bit later in the morning, out before the chop. But instead, you're still guessing, still chasing candles, still wondering, is it the top? Every time price moves. Stop playing small. Grab the 7-day free trial, join our Discord, watch the YouTube recaps, get the tools, ask the questions, see what it feels like to trade with confidence, guys. Because this is what real algorithmic trading looks like right here.